When it comes to serial killers, we often think of cunning individuals who prey on strangers, leaving behind a trail of unsolved mysteries. However, imagine a scenario that sends shivers down your spine, a nightmare that haunts your dreams. What if two men drove around in a creepy silver van, stalking young girls on the streets of California? Now, picture these men not just abducting these innocent girls, but subjecting them to a horrific fate in a place of unspeakable horror. They were confronted by a disheveled man, often shirtless and covered in tattoos, lying on top of a mattress. You won't believe what you're about to hear. These men, Bittaker and Norris, were arrested and charged with multiple counts of kidnapping, rape, sodomy, oral copulation, and murder. In a dramatic turn of events, Bittaker agreed to plead guilty to 13 charges if he avoided the death penalty. Norris, in an unexpected move, requested that his life sentence be reduced, citing the fact that he had testified against his co-defendant, Bittaker, and expressed remorse for his actions. His request was denied. On March 12, 1984, Bittaker found himself before the parole board for the first time. He argued that his guilty plea saved the state money, which was a fair point, but the board wasn't convinced. Bittaker's release was denied. On January 26, 1981, Bittaker's plea agreement was approved, and he was formally sentenced to 45 years to life. While the names of the victims were kept confidential, due to the nature of their ordeal, we can still pay tribute to their memory. The Toolbox Killers case remains a stark reminder of the depths of human cruelty and the resilience of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable adversity. Well, prepare to be intrigued. Click the link on your screen now and dive into the chilling narrative of the Manson family. Uncover the shocking details of their reign of terror and the enigmatic figure of Charles Manson. Don't miss out on this captivating journey through one of America's most notorious criminal sagas. The investigation and prosecution of these crimes showcased the dedication and bravery of law enforcement officials and prosecutors who worked tirelessly to bring the perpetrators to justice. The case also highlighted the importance of protecting victims and witnesses and ensuring their rights and privacy are respected. Leah Lamp, one of the victims, was a bright young woman who had dreams for the future. Her absence was deeply felt by her family and friends. By doing so, you'll be among the first to know when we release our latest video. Your support means the world to us. Keep an eye out for more gripping tales of mystery and suspense coming soon to a screen near you. Until then, stay safe and keep exploring the darker side of human nature. Jacqueline Gilliam, another victim, was known for her warm smile and friendly nature. She was dearly loved by her community, and her loss left a void in the hearts of many. The remaining victims, Lucinda Schaefer, Andrea Hall, and Shirley Ledford, each had their own unique qualities and contributions to the world. Although their stories were cut short, their memories live on. The evidence against them was substantial. Their defense attorneys argued that the prosecution's case rested heavily on the strength of the taped evidence, which they claimed was illegally obtained. Legal battles ensued, and in May 1981, Norris entered a guilty plea to 13 charges, including the notorious assault with a deadly weapon. Do you believe that the killer deserves a second chance after spending so much time in prison? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters. He was apprehended 3 weeks later, ending his brief freedom. He passed away at San Quentin State Prison, where he had spent nearly 4 decades of his life. His death came as a result of natural causes. But for the families of his victims, this news brought a mixture of relief and a sense of finality. In the same year, Roy Norris also breathed his last, passing away on September 16th at the age of 76. The circumstances surrounding his death remain unclear, but it marked the end of another chapter in this haunting saga. In 2012, Bittaker's parole board hearing brought him back into the spotlight. At 58, he maintained his innocence, claiming the confessions he made in the 1980s were coerced. He suggested his co-defendant, Norris, should receive a lesser sentence, since he cooperated with authorities. However, his appeal was rejected, and he was once again denied parole. But his plea bargain didn't hold up. Prosecutors revealed new details about the crimes, leading to its dismissal. By November, Norris pleaded not guilty to all charges. Meanwhile, Bittaker stuck to his guns, maintaining his innocence. This meant the only way for the case to move forward was to try both men together, which led to a mistrial. Chains, ropes, and tools hung ominously from hooks in the ceiling or were stashed in various corners. The men's twisted desires knew no bounds. Their assaults were characterized by extreme violence and sadistic pleasure. During the attacks, they recorded audio clips which later provided chilling insights into their warped minds. This chilling tale is not from a horror movie, but a horrifying reality that unfolded in 1979. Today, we delve into the terrifying ordeal of the Toolbox Killers, a duo whose sinister actions shook the nation. Norris was the first to stand trial. Despite his earlier pleas, his defense attorney attempted to convince the jury that the taped evidence should be deemed inadmissible. The judge, however, ruled that the tapes were indeed legal, and the trial continued. To protect witnesses and avoid complications during the proceedings, the press was barred from identifying the victims and their families. Fortunately, the coverage was limited, making it difficult to get a clear picture of the trial's specifics. The next hearing saw Norris enter a guilty plea to 7 charges, including kidnapping and forcible rape. He was subsequently sentenced to 45 years to life in prison. Join us as we uncover the chilling details of their gruesome crimes, prepared to be horrified by the unimaginable acts that these men committed. In the summer of 1979, Southern California seemed like a typical picture-perfect location where pleasant days were spent lounging by the pool and having barbecues with friends. However, lurking beneath this tranquil facade was a sinister secret. The van was christened the Murder Mac. They devised a system where the back of the van was accessible from both the inside and outside. A red button on the dashboard allowed the occupants to lock all the doors from the front. Norris reportedly took the wheel, while Bittaker kept a vigilant lookout for potential targets. Their ideal victim was a young girl between 14 and 19 years old. Once they spotted a suitable target, Norris would slow down near her and ask for directions or any other ruse that would cause her to approach the van. When she leaned in, Bittaker would quickly grab her and drag her into the back of the van before she could scream. According to Norris, he and Bittaker were both equally adept at carrying out the kidnappings, though Bittaker tended to grab the girls while Norris assisted in restraining them. They chose to kidnap girls rather than boys because they believed females were smaller and easier to handle. Also, they thought young girls were more likely to trust strangers. 2 former convicts, Lawrence Bittaker and Roy Norris, had recently reunited after serving time together at San Luis Obispo State Prison. Both men had served time for violent offenses, armed robbery, and assault. As they reconnected, they discovered a horrifying similarity: a shared desire to harm young girls. Their paths crossed again in July 1979. Bittaker, a skilled mechanic, had a knack for fixing cars. His latest acquisition was a beat-up 1978 silver GMC van. Recognizing an opportunity, he offered Norris a proposition. They would modify the vehicle into a sinister mobile torture chamber and use it to hunt down their unsuspecting victims. The chilling plan involved equipping the back of the van with a bed, tools, and a fake air vent to muffle the screams of their captives. Inside the cramped space, the victims were exposed to a horrifying spectacle. To understand the magnitude of their monstrosity, let's dissect some of the accounts from those harrowing tapes. Determined to bring these men to justice, prosecutors tried them separately. The audio tapes proved to be too damning to ignore. Now, let's fast forward to February 1983. Fast forward again to November 25, 1995. Norris was back in the news when he escaped from Corcoran State Prison. It was on October 15, 2019, that Lawrence Bittaker finally breathed his last breath at the age of 79. However, the story doesn't end here. We have a question for you, okay? And now, let's move on to another chilling aspect of this case: the impact on the victims and their families. The families of the victims endured not only the pain of losing their loved ones, but also the trauma of reliving the horror of the crimes through the publicized audio tapes. If you've delved deep into the details of this horrifying case, you may be wondering about the relevance of the infamous Manson family case. Thank you for joining us today. If you're as captivated by true crime stories as we are, we invite you to subscribe.